Some nations are born, others rise from dust and devastation. Libya's story is not one of sudden revolution, but of silent endurance that spanned generations. For decades, the world looked at Libya and saw barren desert, hardship, and foreign occupation. Yet beneath its sands, a spirit was taking shape, quiet but unbreakable. This is the story of how Libya became the first country in history to gain its independence through the United Nations, earning freedom not by force, but by dignity. The years of resistance. In 1911, Libya was seized by Italian forces. The occupation was harsh. Entire communities were displaced, placed into concentration camps, and exposed to famine and disease. But amidst the suffering, a voice rose. Omar Mukhtar, known as the Lion of the Desert, became the embodiment of Libyan resistance. He fought not for conquest, but for dignity. Even in captivity, he stood firm and declared, "We do not surrender, we win or we die." That sentence became the heartbeat of a nation. Though Mukhtar was executed in 1931, his spirit continued. It carried through families, whispered through prayer, and echoed across desert winds. A land on the world stage. During World War II, Libya became a major battlefield. Tobruk and El Alamein were names written in military history. But for Libyans, the war represented something more, a moment for the world to witness their endurance. When the war ended and colonial powers reconsidered the future of African territories, a question arose at the United Nations. Should Libya remain under foreign rule, or should it stand on its own? History turned on the answer. Diplomacy over war. In 1949, the United Nations made an unprecedented decision. Through UN Resolution 289, it declared that Libya must become an independent country before January 1, 1952. It was an extraordinary moment, not only for Libya, but for the world. For the first time, a nation was to be born without rebellion, without surrender, but through the collective decision of the international community. Libyan representatives, alongside UN Commissioner Adrian Pelt, worked tirelessly to draft the future of the country. Unity was not simple. Libya had been divided among provinces and tribal loyalties. Yet through negotiation and mutual respect, these differences were set aside. December 24, 1951. Independence. On December 24, 1951, history was made. Libya officially declared independence under the name the United Kingdom of Libya. It was more than a political victory. It was a moral triumph. Libya became the first nation to gain independence through the United Nations, the first North African country to become independent. This moment marked the rise of King Mohammed Idris al-Senussi, who became King Idris I, symbolizing unity and continuity. He was a spiritual leader more than a military one, and his reign began with the belief that peace could achieve what war could not. The kingdom years begin. During the 1950s and 1960s, Libya began building itself from the ground up. Schools opened where none existed before. Hospitals were built. Roads connected distant regions. The country adopted a constitutional monarchy and joined regional and international organizations with quiet confidence. And then, everything changed in 1959. Oil was discovered in commercial quantities. Within a few years, Libya transitioned from one of the poorest nations to one of the wealthiest countries in Africa. New resources brought modern infrastructure, access to education, and international influence. It was a turning point. Yet King Idris believed that wealth should be used carefully, ensuring stability rather than rushing transformation. A voice of diplomacy. Libya joined the Arab League and became an active member of the United Nations. It supported neighboring African nations still struggling for independence, using diplomacy rather than confrontation. During this period, Libya became known as a peaceful monarchy, conservative in approach, but firm in principles. The nation avoided conflict and maintained neutrality in most global disputes, preferring cooperation to confrontation. The winds of change. Still, the world was evolving rapidly during the 1960s. In many countries, people sought faster reforms, modernization, and stronger national control over resources. Young Libyans looked at newly independent revolutionary states and questioned whether the kingdom's slow and cautious method was enough. The monarchy brought unity and stability, but for many, change could not wait. This growing demand for transformation would eventually lead to major shifts in Libya's political structure. But this film is not about what came after. This is about how Libya earned its independence, with dignity, patience, and strategy. A legacy of peaceful sovereignty. The kingdom era gave Libya a lasting foundation, a unified state after centuries of division, independence without war, a place among nations built upon law, not violence. It was a period that taught Libya to stand on its feet and speak in its own voice on the world stage. Though challenges would emerge later, history recognizes this truth. Libya entered independence with dignity,